Hey everybody, welcome back to the first layer. A very special build we're doing. We are doing a Voron 2.4 R2 in dedication of my good friend Peter Reynolds. I want to say hi to a few people. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If the audio is coming through okay, please let me know. I'm just going to turn down this audio a little bit so we don't get bombarded by tunage. All right, so let's see what we got going on. We got Tim Postma, who's drinking some green tea, so he might be a little tired tonight. We are streaming both on Facebook, or pardon me, on YouTube and over on Twitch tonight. I'm trying to get my Twitch numbers up a little bit, so hopefully we can get some people over there interacting. We have Andrew Humphrey, Rex Waldy, our good friend and a longtime supporter of the show. We have Marcel Demers, the Poor Boy channel. I got to tell you, Poor Boy channel, love what he's doing. He's very kind of laid back. I love his southern charm, that South Carolina accent that he's got going on. That's just, it's charming as you wouldn't believe. And just listening to him and his laid back style, and you know, he wants to learn, and he's building his own Voron right now, a Trident. He's doing an amazing job, and I just absolutely love his channel. If you haven't already, go over to the Poor Boy channel and subscribe. Just look him up here on YouTube. We've got Steve Reimer, my good friend Joseph Jolly, longtime supporter of the show. Also my good friend Richard Taylor, RT. He says, good evening, everyone. Gary T, another longtime supporter of the show. Teza is here with us. And there we go. We pretty much covered everybody so far. So what are we doing tonight? I am building the Voron 2.4. Let me just run this on the, oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. I want to run this on the bottom. And I think I have to do this. Yes, that's what I have to do. Okay. So we've got some sponsors for the show. We've got Keene Village Plastics, who supplied us with the plastics for our build-it basement. Supplied some stuff for us. DeWitt 3D has been printing all the parts for me. LDO Motors, Jason over at LDO Motors, I can't thank him enough for coming on board and helping me out with this project. We have 3D Lab Tech here in Calgary. KB 3D, they've got some stuff showing up tomorrow, which is going for this build, and also our friends over at BQ Big Tree Tech. Big Tree Tech has informed me this morning that some of the stuff that we're waiting for is on back order, so they're not going to ship it all until it's ready to go. It's in manufacturing right now. They're expecting it very soon, so we'll have it by the time we reach that portion of the build. So tonight we have to get the bones built of this machine. So what do we need? Well, we're going to need some Loctite, first and foremost. This is going to help our screws not back out when this machine is going full tilt and it's doing what it needs to do. So we're going to use Loctite to keep our screws in place. We are going to use, LDO supplied us with all of our motors. They also supplied me with a hardware kit for all the screws, nuts, bolts, and stuff. But I thought to myself, you know what? Because this is black extrusion, I had some button head hex screws, some alloy ones, in my drawer. So I decided that I wanted to make sure that I used them up just on the frame, if nothing else. It'll kind of keep it that black sleek look. So these are left over from my original build, my original 2.4 that I built a few years ago. But I'm going to use these to build the frame with. Now, some of the other things that we're going to need, of course, we're going to need our Wera hex wrenches. I have the Wera ones here. These are the ones that Tim gifted to me from over at DeWitt 3D. He had an extra set of these, and he said, here, take these. He says, I love them. They're great. I have 2 sets. You might as well have one because you're going to be doing another build soon. And he wasn't wrong about that. John's here in the chat tonight. I also have my other hex wrenches just in case I need them because they're a little bit smaller without the rubber on them. Some of the other things I'm going to be using is my magic screwdriver. I really like this. It's quick to drive those screws in, and then you're just going to come back with your hex wrenches, and you're just going to tighten things up a good little bit. Hey there, Shadell 3D. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, cool. I was going to ask about those wrenches. Yeah, Tim got these online. DeWitt 3D Canada, he got these online, I believe, or somebody gave them 2 sets. I can't remember exactly what the story is. I'm sure he's going to be in the stream tonight at some point. But he had 2 sets of these, and he said, you really got to try these. They're way better than any other wrenches you're going to use. And I have been using them all the time. I love them, absolutely love them. I think they're great. So I'm going to keep the sponsors running on the bottom of the show. E3D and Fadis are 2 companies that I forgot. E3D, we have the Revo Voron hot end for our build, and we also have the Fadis X Voron hot end for this build, and that's their high flow. So we're gonna do some stuff with both of them. I think we're gonna put the Revo on for the initial build, and then we'll do the Fadis, and we'll use the Fadis to do some other stuff a little bit later on. Andrew Humphrey, me too. I think Adam Savage uses those as well. Well, then I guess I'm in good company. Andrew uses them, Adam uses them, Tim uses them, and I use them. I think I'm in good company then. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's get started. What do we need? We need our 10 pieces of aluminum extrusion that we tapped the other day. We also are going to need our 4 pieces of aluminum extrusion that have the holes that we drilled in them. Okay, so this is going to make up the basic frame of our 3D printer. We're also going to be using a square, one of these guys, so I'm going to put that there, and I have a couple of other squares that I really like to use. These are more corner pieces than anything else, but I bought them as a woodworker, to be honest with you. And they're a nice solid ABS plastic. They're not warped, they're perfectly square, they're perfectly 90 degrees, and I really like using these to square up my frame. So that's what I'm going to be using tonight. So we'll just pop this over here. I used them, got them on DeWitt 3D Canada's suggestion, and love them. The Porta Boy channel uses the same ones. There we go. So everybody's using the same ones. I like these ones too. These ones I got a long time ago from Spool 3D. These are made from A2 or L2 steel, A2, S2 steel, I believe it is. So they're very, very good. They don't wear. They keep their points, and you'll strip the screw before you'll strip the driver. Like with a lot of cheap ones, you can strip the driver pretty easily. So where do we got to start? Well, the manual, and I was going to bring up the manual, but everybody seems to bring up the manual. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't see why. I don't think it's necessary to bring up the manual all the time. But I'm gonna have it up for me for reference. It's great when you're building this particular printer to have the manual handy with you so you know what you're doing. Now I know that when I put this all together, come on, no manual. You rebel, John says. Hey, there's KB3D, there's Chris. I got confirmation today, Chris, that the stuff should be here tomorrow. And Chris is from KB3D, and as I was saying earlier, Chris is one of the sponsors of our build. And I can't thank Chris enough for that. So I'm going to just, I'm going to open up the manual, but I'm only going to have it open here on the side, but you guys won't be able to see it. I don't think it's necessary, to be perfectly honest with you. Because all we're doing is we're building a frame for all intent and purposes today. We're not doing anything that's going to require rocket science. But we will talk a little bit about how this frame goes together. So in their manual, we're using what's called blind joints. So in a blind joint, you basically have no visible screws or any visible connectors that hold the whole frame together. So what we want to do is we want to start with one of our uprights, okay? And these are the ones that have the 4 holes in them. Now, if we look at them, this one's just a little bit still got a little bit of oil on it. Maybe we'll just wipe that off so we don't have any problems. We're going to take our first one, and we're going to take a piece of extrusion, starting right here. We'll move those out of the way for a second. Now, I've already put a bolt in here, but there's no Loctite on it. So I'm going to switch cameras so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take this nut out, or this bolt out. I'm going to keep an eye. Hey, there's 3D Medic Vince. Hello, sir. Hello. Been a while. So I'm going to take this one out. And the BOM suggests that you use the stick. I don't have the stick, so I'm going to use Loctite 243, the liquid. I don't mind the liquid. The liquid's fine. So I'm just going to unscrew that top. There we go. Bring that up. I'm going to put a little bit on my bolt. Okay, that might be a little bit much. And of course, I'm going to get this all over my fingers, which is typical of me. I'm going to put a little bit down in the threads as well. There we go. Hey, there's DeWitt, Canada. We were just talking about you. And now I'm going to just screw that in. And to make this go much faster, I'm going to pull out my little screwdriver and get that down. Do you think I should go back and Loctite my screws as well? I think you should, to be perfectly honest. I did that on my first build, and I found that it worked really well. So I'm just going to take this, get that in there if I can, just tighten that screw up a little bit. Now, I'm not too concerned right now how square this is, because you can see I've still got a little bit of play in it. So I can actually take my flat edge and just make sure that that is nice and snug. I will grab my number 3mm hex wrench and we'll start putting that down. He locks tight 2 fingers together, John says. Now, John, it's funny that you should say that because I've never Loctited my fingers together. However, I have been known to super glue my fingers together. There we go. There's the super glue. And it is Loctite as well. So I've been known to do that. I try not to do that. So I'm going to put that out of the way so I'm not getting it in the shot here. All right, so let's grab another piece. Again, we're going to put a little bit of Loctite down on those threads. Going to grab our screw. Put a little bit of Loctite on the screw. Come on, there we go. Oop, get that in the face. Throw that screw in there. Don't cross thread it, like I almost just did. Throw that screw in there. There we go. Now some of these are a little tight to get in, so I may have to do this. There we go. We're just gonna put that in by hand, get past, because sometimes there's a little bit of material still left behind, and it can gum up the threads. And I may have to charge my little screwdriver by the looks of things. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and move some of this stuff out of our way. Lock that down. Slide that over. Now I'm going to take this square, I'm going to put it right in on this side. I want to make sure that this is nice and flush. And now I'm just going to tighten it up. There we go. Now if I look at that, I can tell that that's a nice corner. I'm also going to do it on the outside just to make sure things are right. Okay, that's good. Let's set this aside for now because I have tightened it up. And we're going to do another one. And then we're going to connect them together. So let's start with good old Loctite. Give us a screw. This is the boring part. I apologize for having to put you guys through this. If you want them to come out easy, so you put the Loctite on loose. Okay. There you go. I don't need them to come out, but okay. Tim's done more of these than I have, so, and I've never really put Loctite on any other printer, which maybe is a bad thing, I don't know. That went in just a little bit too far. Back it out, slide that on. And now I'll tighten that up. I don't know how Tim did this. Oh, I know how he did it. On his Lazy Susan. He didn't use the Lazy Susan. He did it right on the tabletop. I will bet you that's exactly what Tim did. And Tim will correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure that's how he did it though. We're building a printer. What are you talking about? This is great. I had thought about, okay, do I want to take you guys through the entire journey of building this? Every screw, every heat sink, inset. And then I thought to myself, that's probably not the best way to do it. So I am going to jump ahead a little bit off camera on other parts of the build. And probably, get some stuff pre-ready so, you guys don't have to sit and watch me put stuff together all the time. So we are moving along at a pretty good pace here. Just keeping an eye. We have Alteracious is over on our Twitch stream tonight. Welcome, Alteracious. And then I'll go around and give all of these a good tighten afterwards as well. All right. So now that we've got that corner done, we're now going to start working on this corner. So I want to put a little bit of Loctite in here. Get a screw ready. Put a little screw in there. Because now this is where this is all going to start coming together. Nick, hello Nick. And there's Dog Lock, or Dog Block, I'm sorry. Dog Block YT, welcome. There's names in here I haven't seen before. Alteracious is supporting me on both channels. That's cool. Thank you, Alteracious. I appreciate that. I really do. So I got that screw in. Now we're going to put this screw in. And I could have made myself a little bit more room. I probably should have made myself a little bit more room. Yeah, I probably should have charged that before. Richard didn't charge his tools. Hey, there's Mika Steve. Welcome, Mika Steve. So again, I couldn't do this without the help of people like Jason from LDO Motors, Big Tree Tech, BQ3D, E3D V6 or E3D Fadis, 3D Lab Tech, KB3D, Keene Village Plastics, DeWitt 3D Canada, and Build It Basement. I want to make sure that everybody gets acknowledged properly. And now we're going to do this side. That was a little bit much. Probably just put that right in there. I couldn't have done it without the help of those fine folks, because otherwise I would have taken my time and built this. But I really wanted to do it for my friend Peter, who, as you all know, I've told this story many times. And, you know, it's, you know, people may find this boring, just watching somebody build a 3D printer. But I hope that, you know, if you are building a 3D printer, that you're looking at it objectively, and that you're looking at it as increasing your skill set if you've never done it before. And this is a good way to do that, to increase that skill set. I'm going to take these excess ones because we're going to be using these shortly. I'm just going to put them over here for a moment, get them out of my way. Back cam one here. There we go. So now we're going to take our long ones, which I just covered up. Why don't I put these guys right here? There we go. That way they'll keep my the lazy Susan from moving. We're going to take these. We're just going to drop them down. Again, we're going to make sure that they're nice and snug. And we will keep them as square as we can. Now I'm not building like some guys on a piece of marble or a piece of granite, which I wish I was, but unfortunately I'm not. I don't have that, so I have to make the best with the situation I've got. So take that out of there. Make sure that that is good there. Come on. Why do I keep missing that? There we go. I think this one might be just a little bit too thick for the hole that I drilled. I'll make sure that that's nice and square. Check that corner. That looks good. Just give that a little tighten. There we go. All right, so now we can just spin this around. We'll do the last one. Sheldon Grant, hello Sheldon, how are you? I hope you are doing well this evening. I hope you are doing well. All right, so we've got that one in. And it is nice and flush. It feels like it's nice and flush. Get this one set up. Yeah, I'm doing this because I have a very limited window to get this done. I have 10 weeks to finish this build. So I wanted to make sure that I got it done in time for our local maker fair. And I'm just making sure that everything is, at this stage of the game, everything is nice and snug. And everything seems to be nice and snug. Just going to check my inside corners. I have a little bit of a racking going on, but that should straighten out once I straighten these out. The Wera hex wrench is available on Amazon. Okay. I'm just grabbing my tape measure because I want to make sure that I am I have a good, let's go there to there. So I'm about 62, and what is this one? And that's about the same. Okay, so at least I know this bottom is square, so that's a plus. So now we have to take these four more pieces, and prep them so that we can put them in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Sorry I'm late, Devin Bonzer. You're not late. This is going to go for a little while, I'm sure. Hey, for anybody that doesn't know, we do have a Discord now. And we have some mods that can go over to our Discord and get a link. That link is only available for 7 days if you want to be a member on our Discord, or you want to help us out over on Discord. There's a lot of areas over there. There's a lot of channels. If you have something you want to contribute over there, please go ahead and do so. There's very few channels that are closed to the people that are helping to run it. But it is the first layer over on Discord. I know Build a Basement, if you can, you've done that already. You've put a link, or Tim from DeWitt 3D. I haven't seen Golden Jaguar in here yet tonight. He's one of the guys that we got to get over on Discord. I don't know why he's not there yet, but. So some people have asked me, why did I choose to do another Voron build? Well, quite frankly, I like the printer. I really like the printer. And at the end of the day, it's a printer that teaches you something, right? So it's going to be a big printer. Well, yes and no. This is only a 300 by 300 by 280 is the build volume. So it's not super huge, but, you know, it does have its benefits for sure. There's definite benefits to having this. Now, I have the Voron that I built with Peter here in my studio back at the beginning of 2022. And his wife said to me that Peter wanted me to have that printer. So I have it here, and it needs some work. It saw better days. Peter, even though he was a very astute hobbyist, just some things would get away from him at times, and that's understandable when you know, you're in your mid to late 70s. It's understandable for sure. And I would go over, and sometimes I think he would just break things, so I'd come over and visit. He never really had to do that. All he had to do was say, "Hey, you want to come over for coffee?" And I would have gone over for coffee, no problem. So, but I have his printer here. I do need to do some work on it. I unhooked everything because I'm rewiring it right now. I want to get it up and running, and then we'll have two Vorons. That's a 350. That's a FormBot kit. And the FormBot kit, as nice as it is, I think that it's one of their early generation FormBot kits. So in my opinion, it's probably not one of the greatest ones. I think they've got better quality now. LDO for sure went and turned this whole building your own 3D printer on its ear with the Voron kits. I mean, they have good quality products at a good price, and they've been able to get it to the market and be able to, you know, supply the parts for people to make their printers. Let's have a look and see what's going on in the chat. Sorry I'm late, that's okay. How do you know if a Voron build is over my head? Are there instructions like the Prusa build? There is instructions. Now bear in mind, unlike a Prusa build, this is a community supported printer. This is not a manufactured printer by the Voron company. Voron is a team of developers that came together to make a printer that they felt was better than what was being currently offered on the marketplace, which allowed this printer to run faster, allowed you to do some custom tool heads on it, used a different motion system, unlike a Cartesian system. I don't think I got any in there. Unlike a Cartesian system that everybody and their dog has, it was able to, when they developed it, they did a lot of work in development, and they continue to develop it, and it's all volunteers that are doing it. But they, you know, much like some of the slicers that are out there, it's all volunteers that are doing it and supporting it. But there were companies like LDO and FormBot that jumped on board and sourced all of the parts for you and created a kit. Now, the one thing that they didn't do, which, depending on your point of view, can be a detriment, was they didn't print the parts. And that was part of what the movement was, is that you sourced all these parts from different vendors to build this thing. Like in our case, I went to Misumi to get all of the extrusion, and we went with good hardware, that sort of thing. So, you know, there's companies that kind of stand out on this, and there's a company out of Germany, and they start with an F. They made the first Mix 6 build plates for this, the thick 6mm or 8mm aluminum extrusion or aluminum build plates, which were ground and they weren't rolled. There's a huge difference, and I talked a little bit about this on the weekend. There's a huge difference when it comes to Let me just close that. There we go. There's a huge difference when it comes to rolled and cast aluminum. And in the case of cast aluminum, you get a much better, a more stable material when you're heating it up. You don't get that with rolled, because rolled is crushed and it's flattened just like dough is crushed and flattened. All right, so now I'm going to start with this one. Put this first one in. And we'll get it tightened down. Give that a little feel. Again, we'll do this side. Make sure that we're right on that edge, so we don't have a lot of work to do later. I'm just going to double check that. That's good. Feeling like it's kind of dark in here, and that's because I didn't turn on this backlight. I knew I forgot something tonight. There we go, that's better. I can see things a little bit better. You guys can probably see things a little bit better now too. Okay, so that one's in, that one's nice and flush. Let's go ahead and do the next one. So I'm just going to work my way around. Now Steve, from Steve Builds, if he was watching me do this, or you experienced guys that are watching me do this are probably cringing right now at the way that I'm putting this together. If I'm doing something wrong, please don't hesitate to tell me, because I'm okay with people telling me I'm doing stuff wrong. I'm okay with that. Teza now on the Discord. There you go, right on. Thank you, Kermit from Build It Basement, for putting up the Discord. Sheldon Grant, the best way to learn is to go over your head. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Do you have the First Layer site that you sell your stuff with your logo or related to your channel? Devin, I do have a site. It's called Shop the First Layer. I haven't done anything with it in a long time. There was a plan at one time to make that into a site where you could buy t-shirts and stuff like that. I make all the t-shirts for the channel because I have a heat press here and I make them using heat transfer vinyl. And it works out really well, but at the same token, it can, and at times will be, a pain in the butt to manage and try and get orders out on time. Having a day job and not just doing this full time, which I wish I could go back to doing this just full time, but I can't. Just, it does, my schedule and the finances just don't allow it. So if you want a t-shirt, you can reach out and I'll get you a t-shirt. That's not a big deal. I can work on getting you a t-shirt. I have them in black and I have them in gray. So you just have to reach out to me. Just send me an email. So for all the guys that have built Voron, am I doing this okay? Am I doing it right? Tell me, please tell me. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm just having a quick peek here. Hey, there's Sid Engineering. Hi all. Hi Sid, how are you? Nothing wrong so far, Teza says. I'm doing okay. All right, great. I've been framed. Yes, I've been framed. I've been framed. It's all DeWitt's fault. And I'm dropping stuff. I'm dropping stuff. Oh. That's what happens when you get old. You drop stuff. All right, so let's make sure that this is nice and flush. And we'll get out our wrench. Almost dropped that too. Hey, there's SPC 3D or Spec 3D. Your head is supposed to be above the printer. Oh, okay. I'll try and remember that. Now, I don't know, maybe I didn't drill those holes quite big enough to go through the frame, but that's the rubber on those is not quite fitting as well as I would like it. So I'm going to do this and just use this one. Come on. Get in the hole. Never thought I'd be saying that on live internet. Oh yeah, I didn't get that one all the way down, did I? Okay, so I already messed things up. So I'm going to undo them. Yeah, I think I should ditch the Lazy Susan for now too. I'm beginning to think that myself. It's becoming a bit of a... Yeah, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ditch the Lazy Susan. Bye, Susan. We'll see you soon. Let's put you down here underneath. Bring you back up. Dun, dun, dun. Wow, that doesn't seem right, does it? Well, that's better. Might be the mat, too. Okay, so first and foremost, let's get this in and down and flat. And let's make sure that it is where we want it to be. There we go. Much better. And that is down and flat. Speaking of frame, can you use the wood frame to make your own 3D printer instead of a metal frame and still have the function flawlessly? Back in the day, all these printers were made on a wooden frame. The old MakerBots were all made on a wooden frame. So they usually were laser cut. And to be perfectly honest with you, I really dug the look of those. I thought they were really cool, but at the end of the day, they don't make them like that anymore because, you know, it's easier to do injection molded plastic, right? So they don't do it like they did in the old days. Now, I know that this table is not completely flat, so I am doing my best to keep it flat. I want to make sure that everything goes where it's supposed to go. All right. So now that I've got the initial box together, once I tighten up this one bolt, I can get my, there we go, there's my driver in it. I use an $8 24-inch tile. Build It Basement says, yeah, I just haven't had the chance to go out and get one. Yeah, wood is also flammable, Nick says. Moisture might be a problem when it comes to the wood. All right, so what I'm going to check now is, now that I've got this done, I can tell you right now that I have to make some changes, because this one right over here is much lower than it should be. So I'm just going to loosen that one up. Make sure everything's nice and down on the table. And then I'll check that. That's much better. That one needs to change a little bit. And this is part of putting this together for the first time. Like when you're doing this frame, you want to make sure that, you know, all of these edges are nice and flush to one another. And I'm good right there. I'm happy. Let's have a look at this one. This one's good, but this one is not. So I'm going to change this. It's just a matter of just putting a little bit of pressure on it, getting your finger in there, and then just double checking it. I'm just a little bit off. I almost feel like I'm a little twisted on this one. Yeah, I am. So I should have gotten myself a proper piece of metal or steel or tile to put this on. Okay, like that. This whole corner needs to change, so we'll just go ahead and do that, and then I'll flip it over and I'll do the other side. Builded Basement says, you are a little twisted. Printer looks okay. Thanks, Kermit. I am a little twisted. You don't get to be my age without getting to be a little twisted. Happy with that, so I'm just going to tighten that one down. There we go. There we go. That is good. This side needs to get changed a little bit. If you can do your frame properly and you can get a good flush mount on the outside and on the top edges, you will be in far better shape when it comes to putting on your panels and that kind of thing, because you want this to be as square as possible so you don't have to fight any racking later on in the build, which can happen. Still a little bit. For whatever reason, it's not sitting down flush. And I know all of these are the exact same size. So I'm just going to loosen that up. Flush it up. I'm going to eyeball it. Put some pressure down there. Get my hex wrench in there. And tighten that right up. The only thing about blind corners is that you can run into this issue. And when you run into this issue, it's because you're blind corners, you can't see your screw or your bolt. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. And now this one's just a little bit out. So I'll just loosen this one off. There we go. That one needs to change, but that side is good. So I will take this one and I will tighten it up. My older brother has a shirt that says, "Careful boy, I don't get this old for no reason." That is very true. That is very, very true. I agree with you, brother. There we go. Gentle persuasion. I call that gentle persuasion. Bigger hammer. Yes. Bigger hammer is right. Sometimes you just got to give it a little gentle persuasion. Just to knock it into place. There are guys that are probably cringing right now as I'm doing this. You know, what the hell is that guy doing? But like you, I'm learning along the way. Use my finger. Yeah. There we go. Give a kid a hammer, everything becomes a nail. You betcha. Now I can tighten that up. There we go. Well, don't get better than that. It don't get better than that. Flushy, 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 flushy. Ooh, I think I got a side that's all set to go. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. I missed one. Dagnabbit. All right, so now let's look at this side. So I'll flip it over. Boop. And that's why you leave these just a little bit just a little bit. This is just, there we go. You know, I do have a hammer for this, just for this purpose. Oh, you look at that. Doesn't get any nicer than that. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Tim's cringing right now because he's watching me put together this frame. He's thinking to himself, I listen to that guy? Look at what he's doing to that poor frame, mangling it. There we go. Hey, there's Brad TN. More Canadian content, you bet. There we go. There we go. I'm happy with that. Okay. I like these because they're nice and soft. Ho, 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 ho. I get excited pretty easy. Shawdell, are you just letting the printer know early? Do what you say. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It must do exactly what I say, when I say it, how I say it. I want to show it who's boss early. That's the thing, is I want to show it who's boss early. Because you know, if you don't do that with these printers, they will walk all over you. There we go. Oh, look at that. Just a little minor adjustment, that's all. Just a little minor adjustment. That one's good, so I'm just going to go ahead and get that one cranked down. Congrats to Brad. What happened with Brad? What did I miss? Thanks, Mika Steve. Keep congratulations, Brad. I missed it, so someone has to buy him a tape. I have a tape measure. Hammer equals Canadian tape measure. I'm allowing. I have roots. What I'm doing is I know guys are cringing at what I'm doing because they don't, I think I have no clue what I'm doing. And you're probably right, I don't have any clue what I'm doing. You're probably very right about that. I make all this up as I go along. Brad was the gent that had a baby a couple of weeks ago. Geez, Brad, I hope that didn't hurt. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations, Brad, to you and your wife. Congratulations, really. Kids are wonderful, and they enrich your lives so much. Just ask Bill the basement. He loves his kids. And I think I'm almost on the last two corners. Oh, look at that. Yeah, baby. This is where you guys get to see me be really excited because I love doing this stuff. I really do. This is kind of my happy place. Because I know this table isn't flat, so I have to kind of do this by feel and by visual. Oh. Just that one little bit right there. Oh yeah. Yeah, baby. And this is the last one I have to do because all these other corners are perfect. Well, maybe not quite perfect there. We'll get to that in a second. I think that has a lot to do with some being just a little twisted. Yep, it's just a little twisted. Oh, Jesus, push that one in way too much. Oh, but not anymore. Now it's nice. Oh, yeah. Hey, there's 3D Experiments. Man, if he offers a private chat room, I'm out of here. Oh, yeah. Give that a good crank. That's done. Just have to tap that in. Just tap it in. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, baby. And the final crank is here. Yeah, baby. Love taps, that's what it is, just love taps. All right. So let's check and see how square we are. We go outside corner to outside corner. Let's do that on the metric. We've got 665. Oh, that's perfect. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Oh, that's perfect too. I see a pattern forming here. I see a pattern forming. Well, it don't get much squarer than that, let me tell you. And I have one more to check. And then I have to decide which is going to be my top and which is going to be my bottom. Oh. Look at that. Okay. I am very, very happy with that. Now, on the table, it doesn't look like it's flat. And it's probably because of the table has a little bit of a bow in it. But now, I can go ahead and put on the two rails, and that will pretty much be it for today. Geez, this only took us an hour. I could keep going, but I don't have everything I need to keep going yet. Yeah. Okay, so looking at that. All right. So I know a lot of you guys also go on Twitch. So I'm going to ask your opinion. I've had a Twitch channel for a long time. I didn't think it was a channel that was good for what I did in terms of, the teaching that I do. But at the end of the day, I see a lot more content creators doing exactly that. They're on Twitch and they're doing really good numbers. And I know I don't have the big giveaways of somebody, say, like Loyal Moses. I don't have those kinds of sponsors. And how do I get my Twitch channel running better? For you guys that are on Twitch, give me some hints. I'd be happy to talk to you guys about it. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how to get Twitch up and running as well as I should. I'm just going to set this down on the floor for a second, because I'm going to prep the two rails for the bed. That's all I've really got left to do. But yeah, how do you guys get your Twitch stream going? Hot tub stream. Oh, so what you're saying is I should get a hot tub? The last thing you want to see is a fat man like me in a hot tub. I'm telling you right now. Okay, I don't need these guys at the moment. Years of carpentry work certainly helped being able to get all those parts flush and working the way that I wanted them to. That was for sure. So now I got this little baggie Let me go back here. So I got this little baggie now of these corner blocks. You guys have seen these before. You guys all know what these are. These are the open builds corner blocks, and they go on the ends just like so. And then they go on to the printer for your heated bed to go onto. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about how you get your Twitch channel going. Because to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to get to this in just a second. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Somebody kick at Gary T out of the comments, LOL. Yeah. Gary, we're friends and we're close, but we're not that close. I've known Gary for at least, since I got into this. If not 7 years, I've known him now, at least 5 for sure. I've known Gary. Do you know what most YouTubers do? Buy their viewership. I don't buy my viewership. I never have. I never will. I think that is not the way to grow your channel. That's the way to get your channel taken away from you. So yeah, I don't buy my subs. I think that is the wrong way to do it. I've seen some guys do that, and I've watched their channels spike so that they can get their monetization back in the day. And then within days, their channels went straight down. Because at the end, when everything is said and done, they know that you're messing about. Yeah. Yeah, buying viewers. Yeah, that's kind of what we're discussing right now. I will never buy viewers, ever. You'll never catch me doing that. All right, so while I'm talking and BSing about here, I will get to doing the next stage. True, giveaways are a bit of a sub-buy. Yeah, I think they are too. But if you've got the sponsors to do it, there's nothing against it. There's no rule saying that you can't. So I guess it's kind of personal preference, I guess. It's not my preference, but I would rather grow organically and continue that way than to buy my subs and end up with a problem in the end. Just want to make sure that that is nice and flush on all sides, and now I'll just tighten that down. Yeah, organic is the best way to go. Andrew Humphrey says, you buy viewers when you end streams. Possibly. I'm not sure what that quite means, but I mean, my channel is completely supported by you guys who watch it, and you guys who share it, and you guys who put in, a little bit of coffee money into the super chats, week to week and that sort of thing. So that to me is more than I could ever ask for. I mean, it does help the channel to stay afloat, because I don't have a lot of, the what do they call them? The affiliate programs. I'm not involved in a lot of them, and I probably should be, but at the end of the day, a lot of it is I just don't have time to manage all that, because that's a full-time job just to manage some of that stuff. And I just don't have the time. And with a job like I have, I'm by my computer and I've got the phone literally connected to my head. So it's, to go and do it to try and manage all of that stuff and get it all set up. I had a hard time just setting up the Discord channel. Like, I've been trying to get a Discord channel up and running for, well, at least 3 years. Gary, you'd be able to attest to that. I've been trying to get it up and running for at least 3 years, and one thing led to another, and I get it kind of started, and then I didn't have time to do it, and then get somebody to help me with it, and then they would flake out and try and rebuild it, and it just didn't work. So this time I sat down one afternoon when I had some free time, and I said, I'm gonna flesh this thing out. I'll get people into the Discord that have some idea of what I should be doing. I kind of don't have that one in there correctly, do I? There we go. I really do need to charge that. And now it's starting to grow. I mean, we've doubled our Discord people in like just a couple of days. So if everybody went out and invited their friends to our Discord, they're into 3D printing, we could have one hell of a Discord going. And I know there's a lot of Discords that are geared to 3D printing. I mean, everybody and their dog seems to have one. You know, every channel out there seems to have one. And is that necessarily a good thing? I don't know. I don't know. It's all dependent on the information that you give, I guess. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. Let's see what's going on here. You buy viewers when you end, LOL. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, there's Mika Steve. Become a first layer member. Thank you very much. Again, those memberships, there's something else I need to work on. Like, I've done a lot of stuff and I don't have a Discord nor a dog, 3D Experiment says. Well, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm always messing with words, Andrew says. I've been trying to figure out how to use Discord for the last 3 years, Build It Basement. And I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to figure out how to use it. How do I make it so that it increases not only my channel traffic, and my channel traffic is, it could be better. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, it could be better. But I'm also going to say that with most of the young guys that are coming out today, like Golden Jaguar, 3D Experiments, or not, pardon me, not 3D Experiments, maybe 3D Experiments, but the Poor Boy channel, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, these new guys that are coming out, they've got great information and they're enthusiastic and they're great for the community because they're not just 16, 17, 20, 25-year-olds. They're guys who have a couple of years behind them. You know, they're in their late 20s, early 30s, mid 40s in a lot of cases. And they want to share their passion with people. And I think that's awesome. And I know I go on diatribes all the time. And you guys probably dislike the diatribes I go on. But at the end of the day, it is good for the community overall because it just shows that there's a lot of people out there with similar passions. Again, you could be into RC, you could be into trains, you could be into scale model building, you could be into any number of hobbies, and you're going to find like-minded people. And that's why I think that we need, as a community, to support each other. You know, the new young guys, I mean, I don't know everything, and they certainly don't know everything, and they have a chance to learn. They also have different ways of doing stuff. I've discovered already that, you know, guys like Build It Basement and the Poor Boy channel, they do things a little differently. You know, they don't necessarily follow the rules, and maybe they're doing it seat of pants like I do. I think that's great. That's awesome. But their content is informative. And there's a lot of channels out there, and you guys can either agree or disagree with me, but there's a lot of channels out there that are still the, hey, look what I printed on that printer with this filament. Have a nice day. Or come to my channel and I'm going to give you a whole bunch of goodies. You know, I want you to be a part of my community, so I'm going to give you a whole bunch of goodies. Do I think that's a good thing? Not really, no. I'm having trouble getting this one little end to line up perfectly. I'm an Aries. For anybody that doesn't know, if you're into zodiac signs, I'm an Aries. So I have to make sure that things are perfect, or I'm not happy. I'm definitely not happy here. That's better. You need to loosen it up a little bit. Everything's a hammer in my shop. Mike Jones, he says, yeah, I stay away from giveaway channels. Kind of sad, especially when they get you to spam the chat. Yeah, I'm not a... Did you say Aries or Airhead? Thanks, Tim. I will not tell the missus that you said that, because she's an Aries too. And my hands, I don't know, the older I get, the more my hands shake. I don't know why. Don't know why. Sean Richards says, no point buying viewers. It's the false premise. If you provide good content, viewers will grow in numbers. And I agree with that. 100% I agree with that. I think that viewers are there for the content. They're not there to, or loyal viewers will be there for the content. This one just doesn't seem to want to sit down. I don't know why. Could be this mat, maybe. I don't know. I'm a bit of an airhead too. Hey, there's Henry Stoffrun. It's cool we share the same birthday. Yeah. Or at least the same birth month. I'm born April, and I got no problem telling people when I was born. I was born in 1965, so that makes me 58 this year. My birthday is coming up in April. And I was born on Easter Sunday, if that's any indication. So take that as it will, I guess. Yeah, born on April the 11th, 1965. So now you know my birth date. I'm not giving you my social insurance number. Square it up with the bent square. Wee puppy then. I was born in 61, Sean Richards says. Mr. Richards was born in 1961. 17th of April for me, Spec 3D says. Look at that. DeWitt, 62. Born in 1962. Mika Steve, 1960 here. Look at that. All my brethren. All right. So what are we going to do now? Well, we're going to bring back up our frame, which is all nice and square. And I think this is going to be my bottom. This shall be my bottom. Right here, 1978. Andrew Humphreys, 1978. John, 1968. Look at that. My wife is actually a year and 1 week older than I am. She was born in 1964 on April 4th. So we're both Aries. Imagine how that goes in our family. So So what do they say we need here now? They say we need a couple of M5 T-nuts. So let me move these out of the way. Let me bring up the T-nut box. Oh, there we go. We have our box with all of our nuts from our friends over at LDO. And we want some T-nuts, M5 T-nuts. There we go. We only need 4, so I'm only going to take 4 out of the package. There's 4. Put these back in here so we don't lose them. Along with this little baggie, which is heat inserts. I spent some time doing some heat inserts earlier today, so when we get to that stage, which is our next episode on Thursday, by the way, we're going to be building the Z drive system, or the Z drive system, depending on where you are in the world. And I want to just zoom in here a little bit. I kind of see where they're mucking about here. Oh, go this way. There we go. Okay, so they're doing the holes to the outsides. So these go in like this. Let me see if I can turn that this way, and I'll go to camera 2. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. So these spring steel guys, they just kind of pop in there. And if you use your, you can kind of set them in, and then you can move them about like so. 1867 here, Shadell says. Oh, yeah. No, that's when our people, Shadell, colonized Canada. That's what I'm going to say to that one. That's when our people colonized Canada. I only feel 12 though. DeWitt. DeWitt, you act like you're 12. Well, so do I sometimes too, though. I can't give DeWitt a hard time about that because I act the same way. I'm just a giant kid. I mean, hell, I'm a big Star Wars fan. All right, so we've got our T-nuts in. Now we can take our little sticks here and we can use an M5. And they want us to use, what M5 do they want us to use? Back that out. They want us to use an M510. And these are M516s. Talks amongst yourselves. I'm going to pull a, who doesn't like Star Wars? I agree. I'm gonna just pop out for a quick second. I know I've got some M510s upstairs that are black, and I will be right back. I'm gonna pull a DeWitt Canada, and I'm gonna zip out of the room for a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. You'll still be able to hear me though. You want to know the one screw I don't have upstairs? Is an M510. So, I guess I'm going to pull it out of here. Sean Richards, have a good night. Thank you for coming. Why don't we all say goodbye when he comes back? Thanks, Shadell. Thanks. We would leave now, LOL. All right, fine. See ya. Audio? Do I not have audio? I should have audio. I have audio. I see his arm. Who, Tim? I can hear music. How come you guys can't hear me? You should be able to hear me. I know you guys can hear me because I can see the meters going up and down. Aha. Oh, you guys are playing the same trick you play on Tim. I know you are. Ah, see? Mess with the Canadians. That's what you're doing. You're just messing with the Canadians. All right. I understand. I understand. Okay. Henry says, I can hear you. I knew you guys could hear me. You guys just want to make me seem like I've got audio issues. And I know I don't have audio issues. Ha 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 ha. I still hear ABBA Dancing Queen. No, there's no Dancing Queen. Unless you want me to sing it. So I have to mess up my black routine and go to these nice chrome alloy ones. But that's okay. I can live with it. I can live with it. It'll drive my OCD a little nuts, but I'll live with it. Oh my God, no. All right. So, what am I doing here? I'm just hanging out here. I've been working on a song that's a parody of I don't know if you guys are too old for Miley Cyrus. Maybe you are. But I've been working on a parody of her new song, Flowers. Why is that not going in there? Do I have a bad one? I'm working on a parody of her song that's related to 3D printing. Not Wrecking Ball, no. Not Wrecking Ball. Her new song, Flowers. In the song, she says that she can buy her own flowers. Well, in my song, I can print my own flowers. I'd rather hear Rich sing than Miley built-in basement. You may regret that decision. You may regret that decision, actually. But yeah, so I've been working on this parody song called Printers, and it's not quite ready. I've got a couple of friends that are musicians that are helping me with the music and working out some of the beats and the words to it. I'm not a songwriter. I'm not a singer. I like to think I'm a singer, but I'm not. I'm definitely not. Definitely not. My ears, my ears. Nah, they're little screws, not little nuts. What's a little screw? A midget hooker? Oh, there goes my monetization. Can you say that word anymore, midget? I don't think you can. I think it's little people now. I think you have to say little people. I think that's what you have to say. All right, so we got those in. Now, from the center, we have to find the center of our printer, and that is 230 from the inside. Let's find out. Okay, so that would be the center right there. I think I should have probably did this a different way. You know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat. I am going to grab a pencil, which I know I have plenty of. I have plenty of pencils. There's one right here. I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to mark 130. Yep. Or pardon me, 230 on the frame. And then from that, I need 65 on either side. Let's use a small ruler to do that. And there we go. This one definitely has to move over. This is not fair. I'm working out the wiring on my printer while I watch Rich. I should be recording. Oh, sorry. Why are you working on yours? Okay, I think I'm in good. I think I'm in good. Now here's where it's going to become critical, because I measured from this side here, so I'm going to have to measure from that side again. And our center is 230. There's our center. Now we'll go 65. And 65. Move that one over. You have a toothache. Tooth Hurley. I'm not sure. I don't have a toothache. I have teeth missing. I don't think I have a toothache though. There we go. So, if this is correct, we should be 130 millimeters between these two. So let's double check. And we are 130 between these two. And we're 130 between those two. So we've got that done. So we are at the end of this portion of the frame. So we've got it all squared up. We know that we're square. We can double check. I mean, we can always do this and see if we got any light that comes through. And we do not. That looks fine. That looks fine. That's nice and square. That's nice and square. Okay. So I can go around and I can do the whole thing. But for now, we have this set up exactly where we need it. I'll take a little bit of alcohol or rub off that bit of stuff from the pencil. We'll put that down here for now. We won't step on it. And we'll figure out how we're going to meander on to the rest. Now, on the next episode, which will be on Thursday, we are going to start the Z drives. So we're going to put them together. Now, I have done some of the inserts. Tim over at DeWitt 3D got all these files, shared them with me, and we kind of looked at this together. And this is my heat insert device now. I've just got a cheap $20 soldering iron on here from Amazon. Counterweight is a bunch of washers. All of this stuff that is on here, all of the hardware that is on this thing to do heat inserts is all stuff I already had. So I had a piece of extrusion. They called for a 12-inch piece of extrusion. I didn't want to cut it down. I just said, you know, I'll just do it the way that I want to do it. This was all printed out of 3D Fuel Lulzbot Green, PLA Plus. All these parts, except for this one little part right here, which is TPU. It's very tough. This is the Armadillo TPU, but it makes for a nice stop. It is a little bit soft when I guess other soft things hit it, but it does work well. The holder is supposed to be made out of ABS, ASA, or ABS Plus. I couldn't find any. So I just printed it out of PETG. It seems to be working just fine. I had it running just yesterday and put heat inserts into some of my parts, and that way I don't have to do it all on camera, and you guys don't have to watch me do heat inserts for 25, 35 minutes. We can get on to actually building things. Who's that yellow thing? Build It Basement. It's actually green. It's not yellow. It's green. It does look kind of yellow on screen, doesn't it? Oh, all right. It's got to be these Canon cameras. I think I'll beat all of you. 1953, Tezza says. Wow. You still got a heartbeat? Tezza, Mika Steve's asking. DeWitt, I'm printing another heat insert press. I was so impressed with the first one that I want another one, LOL. Okay. If it's square and you're measuring the center, the sides does not matter. Yeah, just thinking out loud. Yeah, you're right, it doesn't, but I did measure it off the center. The tape measure. Oh, the tape measure. This is my Stanley 8 meter, 26 foot lever lock tape measure. I've had this one for a little while now. I really like this one. I've got lots of Stanley tape measures around here. I like Stanley products. I always have. I used to do a lot of woodworking, so Stanley was my go-to for tape measures and things like that. This one in particular has both imperial and metric on it. Let me go to camera 2 here. So this has imperial and metric on it. So it's really good for this kind of stuff. So everything's in imperial, in metric. So it's really easy. And it's all done in millimeters as opposed to centimeters. The bigger numbers, of course, are centimeters. So you just add a 0 and convert. Because every 10 millimeters is a centimeter. So there you go. Yeah, I like this. This is one of my favorites. This is, I'm not even sure where I got this. This is probably a Stanley as well, this square. I use this quite often. The little squares that I was using earlier, where did I put them? I put them aside. I don't know where I put them now. Oh well, I'll find them later. They're big orange things. I can't miss them. But in any case, yeah, I put them under here. I put them away. Those, I bought that pack off of Amazon. There's some smaller ones inside the pack. There's a total of 8 pieces in there. There's some smaller ones and there's some bigger ones. 3-inch, I think 3 or 4-inch ones, and then 6-inch ones. So they're great little squares. Like when you're putting together a cabinetry or something, you clamp them, put a clamp on them. They're great for holding things square. Mika Stevo, that was cruel. Thank goodness you missed the cruelty happening earlier. Oh, Steve builds. Yeah, Steve, you missed the cruelty. Steve, I'm gonna say right now, I was using a Canadian hammer. Yes, I was, to kind of line up because my table's not completely flat. And I know you're gonna chastise me about it, but I did get it all square. I measured all the diagonals, everything right on the money. I'm really happy about it. It came out really good. And seeing as you missed it, I will show it to you. So I have one good looking frame. Let me switch cameras again. One good looking frame. There we go. Steve builds. And all you guys know who Steve builds is. I don't have to introduce him. You can see that my table, it's not my frame, it's my table that has some hump in it. It has a hump in it. So, and that probably has to do with the dryness down here, but everything is nice and flush on the edges. Everything's nice and square. All of my extrusion is square. So if I was going to send this off to you for grading, I would hope that you would at least give me a B+. You may not like the method in which I used to get here, but I got here and everything is square, diagonally, so everything's square. KB3D, yeah, Chris is probably going, man, and I supported this guy. I'm sending him stuff. I wonder if I can get it back early. At least it should be slightly nicer than the US hammer. Yeah, my hammers I like plastic hammers. Hump. I resemble that remark. Yeah. Tomorrow is hump day. Yeah. Humphrey. That's good. Must be made of lumber imported from the U.S. Just kidding, my friends. Yes. But Steve, yes, you would have probably been pulling your hair out, looking at what I did to square this up and make sure everything was nice and flush and cool. And I hope that you would give me at least a B+. My methodology may not have been exactly what the Voron community and the devs would consider proper, but I got there in the end. And these are spaced correctly. I checked those. So everything's good. It's nice and square. And let me just wait a second. I did not check that. Yep, those are nice and square. Yep, they're square. So the proof will be in the result, right? Yes, I'm sure it's fine. Okay. Well, I will, you can go back and watch the VOD. But it is done. The frame is done. So now we are off to the Z drives. and we're going to start building those on Thursday. We'll get them all assembled. I should have the bottom panel in. I've got some DIN rail on my desk over there that we're going to use as well. So we'll get that all done, and we'll get the linear rails installed. So Thursday is going to be a little bit longer of a go. We're going to go probably a little bit longer than 2 hours. I'm going to be bordering on that 3 hour. With a square, of course. Yes, I checked everything with a square, yes. John, if you need some DIN rail, I got an 8-foot piece sitting in my front hallway. It just has to be cut. I've offered some to DeWitt 3D Canada as well for his upgrade that he's doing with the rat rig. So, but yeah, I think that everybody that's in here tonight knows all these channels, so I don't really have to go and talk too much more about them. I am going to set up another camera back here for Thursday night because I don't do the chat underneath. It's just too much to keep up with. I could probably run it up the side, but that's too much like work. Oh, John says he found a supplier that does 1 meter pieces for $5. I bought an 8-foot piece for $9 at Ecol Electric, or Ecol Electric here in Calgary. I bought 2 pieces. They were less than $20 for two 8-foot pieces. No, DIN rails are not, because you can actually cut them on a chop saw. I actually cut mine on my chop saw. They are aluminum. DIN rails are aluminum, so pretty easy to do. Pretty easy to do indeed. So, yeah, exactly the same company. Yeah, I don't have them cut it. I just buy a full 8-foot piece, cut it myself. I got a chop saw, so I do a lot of my own woodwork. So it's like this bench, for instance. I didn't go out and buy one like some people have done. I didn't have the funds to do it. I already had the lumber. The only thing I was missing was the top, and I found the top for a really good price. It's a countertop that's solid wood. It was 6 feet long. So I said, sure, 25 inches deep. Why not? It was $149 from Home Depot here in Canada. So what does DIN stand for? I have no idea. I'm not an electrician. Electricians would know what DIN stands for. Oh, you didn't have them cut it. Oh, they sell it in 1 and 2 meter lengths. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think if you bought a 2 meter length, you could get it for a little over $5. I don't think it's going to cost you much more than that. Any of the series of technical standards originating in Germany are used internationally, especially to designate electrical connections. Film speeds and paper sizes examples, a DIN socket. Okay. Google to the rescue. The Dutch Institute for Nuremberg, in Nuremberg. Okay. It's easy for you to say, DeWitt. Yeah, I don't speak French. Pardon me, I don't speak German, and I don't speak French. And you might find that actually pretty funny because my mother was French. I have 2 brothers that speak fairly fluent French. I do not. I believe DeWitt is French as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I'm happy with what I got accomplished today. On Thursday, we're going to dive into getting those Z drives done, and we'll get the DIN rails on. I still do have to clean the DIN rails. I'm going to put it out to you guys. Should I clean the DIN rails in a live stream, or should I clean them off camera and then re-grease them off camera? Do you guys think it would be valuable for me to clean them and then show that on camera and show repacking those bearings? Just give me a yes or a no in the chat, and that will certainly help my decision. If I do that, though, just be aware that it's going to draw this out a little bit longer. We may not get all of that assembly done. So DIN rails don't use bearings. No, the linear bearings. Clean the DIN rail or the linear rails. The linear rails. I need to clean the linear rails. Yeah, clean them on stream. 3D Experiment says, okay. Are you talking about linear rails? Yeah. Not DIN rails. No, cleaning the linear rails. I'm sorry, I should have made that more clear. Yeah, the linear rails, they're still packaged. The ones I got from Robot Dig are the black ones, and I have heard that some people have said they're kind of crunchy, or they can be kind of crunchy, whatever that means. Maybe they don't slide quite as well on the black anodization of the steel. That could be. Do the last one on stream. Okay, yeah, that would make more sense. I think that instead of trying to clean them all, do clean, you know, the ones that I need, the 4 that I need for Thursday, clean 3 of them, and then do the last one on stream. Yeah, that would actually be a good idea. Now I have to find my grease for them. I think I know where that tube is. I'm going to be using white lithium grease. Now, you guys can tell me if that's a good or a bad thing, but that's all I have is white lithium grease on hand. I think that it should be fine. It might get a little bit dirtier, a little bit faster, but I can always clean that. Builded Basement says that's fine. Okay. So white lithium grease is okay. I don't have to use the Mobile X, whatever people are saying to use. DeWitt says he has the proper stuff he can bring me. Okay, all right. So then we can do it the proper way. All right. Now remember that this build is going to be not by the book. I'm not doing this build by the book because this build, the Mobile X will last longer. Okay. I think that this build, because of the build plate being so heavy as it is, and I believe that's going to be here tomorrow. Thank you to Build It Basement for that, and to Chris over at KB3D. Again, you guys can see all the sponsors of this build down at the bottom of the screen. Go and give them some love. Lithium will be smoother and faster, Build It Basement says. Mobile X will last longer. Okay. All right. Do I need it to be faster though? I don't know. Do I want to have that little bit of resistance from the Mobile X? Maybe. Mobile X, Mobile EP2, whatever. Yeah, do it. If you've got some, I'll take it from you. Sure, just drop it off on your way home. And I will do those probably tomorrow sometime, and then have it ready, and I'll do one. Oh, John says white lithium grease is not recommended by companies like Highwind. Well, these aren't Highwinds. These are the Robot Dig ones, so they're not branded Highwinds. I think they're a knockoff, or they're their own. But they're good quality. I used them on my last build, and I really like them. They seem to work just fine. So didn't have much of a problem there. You might need the speed if you're going up against the bamboo. Oh, Tim's just throwing some shade. Oh, okay. Tim's throwing some shade. Yeah, well, we'll see about that, Mr. Tim. We'll be going up against your bamboo. Remember, I got my secret weapon. His name is the Golden Jaguar 3D. So he's my secret weapon. I've already been plotting with him on how I can beat Tim. Do the EP2 on the Z and X and Y with lithium if you want speed. And damn it, Tim. Okay. You caught on quicker than Rich. Oh, okay. The EP2 would be less slop. Okay. Yeah. White lithium grease is quite thin in compared to the other stuff. So I've seen both. But yeah, I think that's probably the better way to do it. So I'll probably clean up the rails that I need for Thursday tomorrow, with the exception of one, and I'll keep one for the stream on Thursday. We'll do the one. We'll get it all installed. and then we'll build out the 4 Z drives. I may actually pre-build out those ones and then just keep one and build that one out. Because you guys don't need to see every step of the way, I'm sure. So that's the way that we'll do it. So I'm going to wrap it up here. We've been at this for 2 hours now. It's 10 o'clock over on the East Coast for those guys that are waiting to go to bed. And it's morning across the pond. So I do appreciate you guys joining me tonight for the second episode. We move on to episode 3 on Thursday, where we're going to build the Z drives. We're going to get this starting to look like a printer. And we may have to split that up into 2 episodes for Thursday and Saturday, but we'll see what happens. And then we're back on Sunday with Ask for Help at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Don't forget to join DeWitt this week at 5 o'clock on Sunday. I don't know if he's got any other shows coming up this week, but we'll see. Yeah, so until I see you guys next time, see you all. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Mika Steve, for becoming a member again or renewing your membership, and that helps out the channel. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. I think on Thursday, yeah. Yeah, let's go to, where is that? I have so many things. Lots of things here now. Lots of things. So I'll see you guys all on Thursday. So have yourselves a good night. Have a good Wednesday. Get through hump day. And we will remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great 3D print. See you guys on Thursday.